Before we dive into this video, let me tell you this tutorial is just one of many chapters from my complete course where you'll learn how to create 3D game assets from scratch. If you find this tutorial helpful, then please don't forget to check out the full course through the link in the description for an exclusive discount. So let's get started with texturing now. Let's create our very first layer and we need to extract this color from this image. It is picking each and every single pixel. We want an average of multiple pixels like 15 pixels or 20 pixels. So that is exactly what we are going to do. So let's open up our browser. Let's bring it in here and let's search for image color picker. So now you have to drag this image and drop it here. Okay. Now it is giving you a list of colors which are common in this entire image. So let's pick this first color over here. If you don't see the primary color over here somewhere in this color palette, you can simply go and select. Okay, make sure you don't select from an area where you have a lot of color information and from area where you have a lot of darkness or brightness, and you will get one hex code over here. So let's minimize this. Let's click on this color picker and let's pick the color from here. Now we have the base color. So let's name this as now let's put this in a group. Select this, press Ctrl G. Let's name it as phone body. Okay. So now if you can see here, this color where it is applied is this part, and this part. So we have to mask it out. So let's create a mask on the group. Okay. Let's add a black mask. Instead of selecting the mask for every single layer, we have created one group. You will understand it later if I'm not clear right now. Let's add a fill layer on the mask. Now let's press 4 to enter this paint layer. Select 4 and let's click on polygon mesh fill. So we need this green color on this hand piece, so we'll select this hand piece. Here also we'll give black color here. Okay, so we need we need this color here and here. That's it. So let's get out of this masking mode and now let's start building our base color. Now we have base layer. We need one more layer which is metalness. Let's create roughness first. So roughness also, let's adjust the slider. Let's make it a little glossy. Look at this kind of highlights. You'll be able to see how much glossy you need to go. 0.16. 0.16 is fine. Now we need to add one more layer which is metallic. Name this group roughness. Now create one more fill layer. Let's name it as metallic. Let's isolate only metallicness and let's play with the slider to see. Now this image is not very clear, but if you go and see here, you can see a little bit of surface information where there are two colors. One is this light color, one is this dark color. Okay, we will have to create that effect. So we'll create that effect, but we'll create it here just above the base layer. So we need one more base. Let's name this as base underscore dark. Let's create one more layer. Let's name it as okay. Instead of creating it, we will duplicate this. Control D and we'll name this as base underscore light. So we need to decrease a little bit. I mean, we'll have to make this color a little lighter. So let's make it very little light. Let's close this and we need to create one mask here. Okay, so let's add a black mask, and for that black mask we need to add fill layer. So now for that fill layer we need to find one texture which looks like this, which is going to give us this kind of fill. So let's go through the library, texture library. We need one map which looks like this. So let's drag and drop this and see what kind of effect it is giving. And we need to increase the tiling. Let's take the tiling to around, let's see how much. 5. The tiling, let's set it at 5. Increase the brightness, I mean the contrast, and balance at 0.3. Let's contrast. Okay, let's view the mask, how the mask is looking. So we need to balance and contrast and balance. Contrast, let's keep it at full and see what effect we can get. And balance, let's decrease the contrast. Contrast basically determines whether the color is the mask is entirely black and white or it has some grays in it. See, now you see the grays appearing here. If you increase the contrast, it is pure black and white. If you start decreasing the contrast, you see a little bit of gray start appearing. That contrast basically does that. Okay, contrast, let's keep it at 0.66, balance at 3 0.32. Now let's press M. Let's increase the tiling. Okay, let's increase the tiling to 5. Doesn't feel like right amount. 11. So is 11 looking fine? Let's see. Let just press hold alt and click on the mask. You'll be able to see the mask. Okay, ignore this. Okay, don't fear if the mask is appearing on the parts where you are not applied the mask over here. This basically controls everything in this, and this is to mask only this layer. Okay, so select this, I mean select the mask again, or else go. I think we need to create a little bit more color variation. Control G will make it lighter little bit, like this, to make it visible. Okay, feels fine now. And let's give it a little height information. We'll push this light color, wherever the light color is, we'll try to push it inside a little bit. So just hold shift and give very little height information like this. Okay, now if you look from far, it feels too much. Now let's try to increase the tiling. 16 is fine, but I feel like this height is too much. Let's see what we can do about the height. Like you can see here, 0.0073. Let's try to increase the tiling. Looks fine now. Okay, this is fine now. So let's move on. We can always come back to this layer because this is entirely non-destructive. So let's move on and let's see what we have to do next. So we have to create this dial where here of a little chrome parts we have and a little black plastic parts we have. So let's create that now. So let's collab this. Now let's create one fill layer, name this as, and let's just press Ctrl G, name this as the group as Chrome, and this layer we need only color. Okay, or else we can simply bring in Chrome material only instead of starting from scratch. Let's search for CHR, pristine metal. let's put it in here. Pristine metal is basically giving us the right kind of effect. So let's click here, add black mask, let's create fill. Now let's press 4, sorry, not fill, I don't know, let's create paint, press 4, and you need to select wherever the chrome material is applied. Okay, select this and this this part we need to apply the paint here also, and this part. So let's click on the mask here, let's click, we need to give this, let's press 4 and apply the mask here also. Okay, let's press M. So far so good. So we have, I feel like this color, this pristine metal color is too dark, so let's adjust the color. I think custom color, yeah. So let's click on custom color, let's make it white. Looking fine now. So let's move on. Now one thing what is pretty evident is what you can see is very consistent kind of pattern tiling like this. So you can see this pattern tiling, we want to avoid that. So to avoid that, what we can basically do is uh, under this phone body layer, we need to create one more layer, and just make, let's isolate the color channel only, and pick a little darker color. Let's name this layer as tiling breakup. Okay, so let's move on. Let's create a black mask, and once we have created the black mask, let's add in a fill layer, add fill. So now what we have to do is simply go in and pick one more texture. So when you look from far, you can see the texture tiling, so we need to break that up. So we can let's see, let's add this. Let's make this a little darker for now, so it is visible for us for now. So now all we have to do is edit this smart mask. We'll keep this much of balance. Now what we have to do is simply increase the tiling like this. Let's play with contrast again, and let's press Q. Before that, we'll have to click on triplanar projection. So let's rotate this texture a little bit. For this to be enabled, you have to go into projection and click on triplanar. UV projection, it won't be available, so you'll have to go into triplanar projection and press Q. This gizmo will come up. So what you have to do is basically, the purpose is to break up the tiling. Okay, so once you have come to a fair point, simply edit the mask and go under noise parameters, and play with the grayscale mask parameters, and decide where you want to stop. Okay, now what I feel like, this color is too bright right now, so what we are going to do is go under this blending mode, keep it at normal, it is by default at normal only, decrease the opacity. So it hides the texture tiling a little bit, not a lot but a fair amount. So yeah, so we were successfully able to break up the texture tiling, and let's close this group again, and now create one new material, and we are going to name it as black plastic material for us to fill in this black. So let's click on the layer which is on topmost, and let's add one more layer and name it as black plastic, and let's put it under a group, and we'll name this group as black plastic, BLACK. So we'll have to add a black mask over here, add a black mask, press for mesh fill, UV fill. For us to select this circles easily, we'll have to select mesh fill, make sure the color is on white and go on selecting the inner circles. This one is going to be plastic, and what else is going to be plastic? Here in our original reference, this is black, so that is what we are going to do. We'll follow this for that. So we'll use this and we'll make this black. So let's make this color black. Let's isolate color channel. Let's make it black. So you'll have to select this also. Let's see if our chrome material has any effect on this. We don't want that, so let's click on this and deselect this wherever we have given black plastic material. Press X to invert and UV polyfill, UV fill, because we are getting a little bit of metallic feel in this, so we are going to mask out this also, so we don't get any metallic feel. Press M. Now it looks fine. So we can bring in numbers later. We'll give a texture to this wire. Let's do that now. So let's create one more layer, and let's put it under a group, and let's name this group as wire, and let's name this layer as base color. So basically what we need here is color and white color, not extremely white, grayish white, toward a little bit towards black. So roughness is going to be fairly high because I'm going to make this a steel wire, and the metalness is going to be full. Yeah. So let's click on this, add a black mask, and we are going to press 4, and we are going to select mesh fill. Make this white and press M. It is done. We have created the base. We'll name it as metal, and we need to create this kind of stepping in that we'll create now. Let's add one more layer. We need only height channel for that, so let's isolate only height over here and name this as height. Let's create a black mask and add a fill layer, and I am going to see whether any appropriate texture exists in the texture library. Yeah, stripes over here. So simply drag it into the grayscale and increase the height. Give it a little height information. It should be in minus, like this. So we are going to manipulate this height, this texture to give this kind of look. So what we are going to do is, very first thing is going to increase stripes, or else what we can do is simply increase tiling once, like this. You can see this effect coming out, right? So let's increase the tiling to like 13. Yeah, done. You can increase the tiling if you want. So I'm going to dial down a little. Shift. I can make, yeah, this is what the effect I was looking for. Straight lines. Now you can simply increase the tiling. I have seen this kind of wires on payphones, so that is why I was looking for this effect. And let's press 4. I'll make this black because we changed the color, right? So the difference vanished, or it became very unnoticeable. So we need to give it a little bit of noticeable difference. Roughness, yes, and let's call it chrome roughness breakup, and I'm going to add one white mask. Okay, and let's give it a fill layer, and we are going to plug in one texture over here. So let's look for an appropriate texture. So let's apply it here. See, as soon as you apply the texture, you get a very decent look, realistic. So that is the kind of imperfection we are trying to create, but we will amplify the imperfection as we want to tell a story through our asset. So that is what I'm looking for, and let's see how the texture looks. So currently the texture is like it has gray colors in it, and we want only mostly black and white colors to make the texture more evident. So what we have to do is increase the contrast, and you can see the roughness breakup more clear. So as you can see, once we increase the contrast, all the grays went away. Okay, so one thing we forgot is give this black. Let's see if our black plastic has been assigned to this, because this is looking very grayish to me. So let's create one more metal, and let's put it under a group, and let's name this base, and let's name this black metal. Yes, and I think we can create roughness and metallic for this in the same layer. So let's create roughness, let's make it very shiny. Okay, so let's close this, and let's give it a black mask. Let's press 4 and assign this group to this. Let's make it glossy all the way along, and let's increase the metallicness. So let's create one more material below this, which is going to be, let's base color, base black, and let's name this layer as metallic, base metal. Okay, so what we are trying to achieve here is this paint wearing off. Once this paint wears off, the white metal will be able to see. So color is going to be, let's close this, let's disable this. Color is going to be white. Let's disable height. Roughness is going to be all the way up, and metallic, it's going to be a complete metal. Okay, like this. So let's enable it again, and what we are going to do is give it a black mask, white mask, and let's put in a fill layer. Okay, either it is, now what we are going to do is do some texture painting, or else plug in some texture over here. So let's see. Where, yeah, let's take this, plug it in. Let's increase the tiling. And we need to increase the contrast and increase the balance. Okay, now let's add one more paint layer above it. Let's add a paint layer, and we are going to do some painting. So we need a good looking brush over here, and one brush. I want the paint wearing off effect only here.